Okay, team, welcome to our Team Genesis webinar call. Without further ado, I want to introduce Ms. Janet Larson Meyer. She really needs no introduction. She's our team leader here. And so, Janet, if you're there, take it away for this great training that we have this morning.
Thank you so much, Todd, and thank you for everyone who's created some space for us this morning. Today, our training topic is going to be creating an Expo model for success. And I love connecting with people, and I love helping them achieve their goals, and even better still, helping them achieve their goals right along with me working to achieve mine. So Expos can create that kind of opportunity for you and me, and we're going to talk about today. They give you and I a lot of exposure to the right kind of people in a short period of time, and I like that. Now, also, I want to say they can be a lot of fun too, but you've got to carry the right attitude and expectations into these events. I want to take just a minute before we get started and give credit today to Karen Ball out of Illinois. She's one of our CTFO associates here, and she contributed to our training by sharing with us what's worked for her as a very experienced and very successful exhibitor, and she's allowed me to add her tried and true marketing strategies to my own, and hopefully we've created a great learning experience for you here today. This morning we'll be covering what types of events make sense for you to participate in representing CTFO, and how to prepare for these kind of marketing opportunities, how to professionally represent yourself, your product line, and your business opportunity. Also, we'll be talking about where you can kind of find the supplies that we'll be talking about, get right to it. We're going to give you some sensible marketing and organizational strategies to help you capture the right kind of interest and then convert that interest into customers and associates. And finally, we're going to touch on how to stay connected and support both your new valued customers as well as your valued associates here. So let's kick off and begin picking the right kind of expo that's going to make sense for you to represent CTFO and or our CBD product line. What events will be relevant to our product line and business opportunity? Certainly health and wellness would make sense. Fitness type events, athletic trainings and competitions and races are a great place to have an exhibit table. And then I thought about, I've been super successful in taking network marketing ventures into women's career fairs. So those were some of the first ones I thought of, but make sure that you're going into an expo type event that makes sense for you to be an exhibitor, because some will make sense and many will not. So first, use some good discernment there. Next, let's talk about a list of suggested items to put together a great display. A 6-foot table is what I recommend, gives you a sufficient space for your display items that we'll be talking about, showing here on the screen. Karen recommended a black crushed velvet piece of fabric, approximately 3 yards long, or she referenced a bolt. And you can find those online or at Joann's Fabrics. The width of that velvet fabric will just be right for a 6-foot table. And Karen shares with me that you can wash and dry this crushed velvet piece in advance if you want, and you don't need to hem it, and it won't wrinkle. So she talks about how she uses this to set the stage for her display table. And she just rolls it up and stores it in a plastic bag and moves it from event to event. So I love that idea. Also, you'll see that she selected a 4-foot banner that she chose at CTFO in her own back office. And she picked a banner that reflected the same imaging that she has on her business card. So that makes for a beautiful, professional, and striking display table. In the picture, you'll see a metal tray. You could also use glass or ceramic. And then also if you could put it on a little bit of a riser, it's a little bit punchier still, but you really don't have to go out and purchase those per se. Many of us have those around the house. If you're gonna make a purchase, go to an inexpensive like home goods store and pick something that's approximately the size of what we're showing you in this picture. You'll see accent rocks, and those are just used to dress up the tray a little bit where products are displayed. Karen got those at Walmart, but she said you could also get those at a floral shop. So the craft section of Walmart or a floral shop if you want some nice little accent rocks. And you can just see that all of this is creating a beautiful culture for her to represent our product and our message, to have a best foot forward for all passersby. I'm really impressed with the beautiful display table that Karen's thoughtfully put together. I like how she puts rocks with messages on this table. And she picks messages, of course, that are congruent with what we're about here at CTFO. So you can buy rocks with messages, or you could pick up just smooth river rocks and write your own messages and paint them on there if you want. But you could use a message like win, or joy, or peace, or health, or love, support, connect, nature, and relief were some of the ones that I had thought about. You can, at these events, you can have inventory on hand to sell your products right then and there. And I would be happy at any time for a follow-up call or email exchange to tell you what a practical order might be in order to have the most popular products to sell at an event. Karen chooses not to have any products available at these events, and instead she displays empty bottles that she's saved from her own product consumption, and then she kind of swaps those out with people on her team so that she has all products covered there in her display. And I thought, how smart was that? But she does not go and purchase a great deal of inventory and then hope to sell through it at event time. Instead, she displays the products, and then we'll talk about the strategy she uses to fulfill product orders. Karen has created here in the picture small poster size pictures that are 16 inches by 20 inches. And she props these up on plastic, aluminum, or wood easels. And you can purchase those at Hobby Lobby. Karen quoted me the price that at full cost, they'll be $12.99 each. And you can find them sometimes on sale for half off at about $6.99. But isn't that nice to have them lifted and featured a little bit? She particularly likes the wood one because it's earthy and in the elements, much like our CBD product line. In these pictures, you're going to see that Karen's created posters for you, one featuring the endocannabinoid system of a human, and in another one, dog, for our dog-loving friends. And then the collage that features all our newly introduced products in a real BAM, beautifully pictured there. You can do Google searches to find some of these pictures on your own. In the front right of Karen's table, you'll see a basket where she puts her business cards. You could also have a business card holder, those little lucite business card holders, or whatever you see as a practical, organized way to display your paper business cards. An old-fashioned and less effective way to gather the contact information of the passerbys of your table would be a clipboard. And Karen has humbly expressed that this is what she does, and she's interested in evolving past it. So we've got a new strategy, but she has a clipboard with lines on the page and categories that would include the request for a name, a phone number, an email, and to the furthest right, a note area where you could put personal notes about a person's health challenges or goals. For those of you who have stayed close to Todd, myself, and Klaus over time, you'll recognize that, of course, we've adopted the slick new 10 times more efficient shuffle card that includes a CRM. So in that case, if you adopt using this shuffle card for the purpose of what Karen's doing, but you want to do it in a perhaps we'll say better way, you can share your professional digital business card with an interested prospect. And in doing so, you're going to be collecting the contact information, and instead of writing it on a page and having to transfer it into an Excel spreadsheet or a CRM, you've taken care of all of that in one process. So all of your impressive digital business card will land in the text message area of your prospect, and in turn, you'll have the contact information organized in your CRM to help you with following up with them nearly immediately after event time. I'll also reference that through my own experience, I'm falling more and more in love with this Shuffle platform and the features and benefits that serve us in business, because with the Shuffle card, when you deposit into the text message area of your prospect, there's a built-in tracking device that they don't know that's there, but you'll come to appreciate, because when they leave the event and they go back home and the next day, they want to view your card and have a chance to explore what you began to talk about briefly at the event time. Now they've created some space in their day. When they touch that card and they launch it, you're given an auto alert in real time, letting know that that person is viewing your card, which helps you be timely in your follow-up effort. You could follow up and say, hey, Tom, I realize you're looking at my card and hopefully exploring CTFO. Is now a good time for a follow-up conversation. How cool is that? You're going to impress the dickens out of him that you're catching him in the middle of his review experience, and you're willing to come up underneath him and say, hey, now might be a good time, let's talk. When it's appropriate for you and your passerbys have business cards, and not always will that be the case. If you're capturing business-minded people, they will have paper business cards with them. When your passerbys are largely consumers, or we'll just say consumers, they won't likely plan on having paper business cards. But when a person does, and it's appropriate, you can use the camera feature on your Shuffle app, different than just your phone camera, and hover it over their paper business card, and it will capture all of their contact information, name, phone number, email, company, and take a picture of that image and upload it into the CRM that I referenced earlier. So I cannot imagine a more efficient and easy way to capture the information that you need that will become critical to you in your follow-up efforts, which is where most of your wins will come from. If you're currently not a Shuffle subscriber and you don't know what we're talking about this morning, I hope you wake up and seize this opportunity to embrace this slick multi-purpose tool. Todd calls it the Swiss Army knife of marketing tools, because it's going to help you recruit and organize and grow your CTFO business. So you can subscribe using the links that Todd's going to display in the chat window next to us. It's $20 a month with no contract. If you love it, keep it, use it to its fullest potential. If you don't, you can just disconnect. Todd's also going to put in the chat area for you a training for the Shuffle platform that's actually by chance going on Wednesday. They're always high quality, get right to the point, and it's always very relevant to our CTFO networking business model, how to get the most from this tool. So for those of you who are newbies, what a great chance it is for you to become, to understand how to use the breadth of this platform. I'll move on and talk about something that's near and dear to me. In fact, I'm a little bit of a freak about this. One of the reasons that I completely love the Shuffle digital business card is because of the first impression it gives my prospect. Another first impression that you and I can make that's entirely within our control is dressing for success. And this is a big one for me. At these events, I hope that you have a good personal, that you take pride in your personal appearance. And that doesn't mean you have to dress in evening gowns or suits and go far out on a limb, or even go out and purchase something new. Though it may be a good idea for you to have one kind of uniform, your dress or your slacks and shirt that are kind of the ones that you use at each one of these. Find an outfit that is perhaps casual business wear, or you could do it branded to CTFO and get a shirt or cap or a button or all of the above and wear some of our CTFO gear. We now have a new site, ctfogear.com. If you're interested in wearing CTFO or CBD wear, that's a good place for you to make a purchase. But again, if you go with unkept hair, no makeup on, dotty clothes, and you're not dressed for success, you know, people draw conclusions whether we want to buy into that or not. It's our human nature. Why not on something that's so easy for you to do, meet or exceed their expectations by looking like the professional that you're promoting yourself to be? It makes such a difference, ladies and gentlemen. Next, let's get into loading up your supplies and heading out to the event. And I encourage you to plan on everything going wrong between the time you load your car and leave your home heading for your destination spot. Just plan on everything going wrong. In that, I want you to allow some extra time so that you don't arrive at these events with a frantic energy. It looks bad to other people when you're all hurried and harried, and it feels even worse to you. And I have to tell you, this is this is my Achilles heel, my weakness in business. Nobody will ever tell you that I'm a person who prides myself on being prompt. However, I did it wrong for so long that now today I've made a different decision and I do it right. I show up on time or early, and I encourage you to do that. It's a much better way to be in business.
Janet, can I interject for a second?
Sure. Yeah, please do.
You were talking about, you know, planning on everything going wrong on the way to your expo, whatnot. What I found is in the past, what I would do is I would have a checklist. I would have a checklist of everything down to the pens. You know, if you had pens for people to fill out the information, you would have all the items that are on your particular display, and then you would just have a checklist as you put those in the car. And that way, that would allow you to be much more, you know, susceptible to bringing everything you need instead of just going and winging it. So just wanted to put that out there. You can have a checklist of what's specifically on your table, and then that'll help you be more organized going to an event.
Oh, that's a great point, Todd. And then we'll say there that we would include that bringing our pants. That makes me think of your story of going to an event without dress pants and having to do it in workout shorts. Am I right?
Absolutely. Do not forget your pants, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure your wardrobe is the first thing on your checklist. That would be correct, Janet. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yep, I hate when I leave the house without pants, and my hubs isn't very happy with that either. All right, so great point there, Todd. When you're ready to set up your exhibit table, ladies and gentlemen, organize it in a tasteful manner. Some or all of the display items that we're showing you how to do that are on this PowerPoint collage that we're showing you here. Make sure your table isn't too full of clutter. So we've covered here how to give you a clean and professional and effective looking exhibit. Let me add here to further enhance your presence at these events, if you're skilled at developing a PowerPoint presentation, and I know many of you are, it's impressive to have a slideshow going with approximately 8 slides running with striking images and pictures that include just captions. Do not busy them up with too much content per slide. So you could place your monitor, oversized would be the best, but any size monitor, put it a little bit on a riser for a better viewing experience for your passersby, and bring an extension cord because you never know how far you're going to be from that electrical outlet. If you want to take care of that detail in advance of the expo, which is a good idea because nobody likes surprises last minute, you can visit with the coordinator and tell them I have a need for an electrical outlet, make sure that my table is placed within reasonable distance, and then that way you avoid a problem that you're not prepared to handle. Moving on, when your table is set up, now it's time to go to work and introduce yourself briefly to other exhibitors. You don't want to selfishly suck up too much of their time pitching your business, if you would, when they're paying to be there to pitch their own business, right? So this may be your only chance to engage these people at this event, and many or most of the time, you're going to find that these are actually your ripest prospects. So you can stir up a discussion by going and introducing yourself and engaging them just like you would a stranger right off the bat. How do you do that? How do you engage? You ask questions and flatter them by asking questions about their business. And then try to identify with what they're sharing with you, ways you can genuinely help them. I mean, think about that for just a second. Most exhibitors are expecting you to go there to satisfy your own intentions and agenda and vomit what you know on them. But how about turning the tables and surprising them in a pleasant way and listening, actually listening to what they're sharing with you, commenting on it, and then trying to sift and sort and think about people that you know that may have an interest in their product or service. If it's not you, maybe you know other people. That will make you different than all the other people that they'll be engaging with. Compliment them on what they're doing. Everyone likes to be complimented, ladies and gentlemen. Compliment them on their cool business, on the way they have displayed their wares and goods on their table. Complimenting someone always works, and look for an opportunity in that engagement, in your dialogue, to turn the conversation to CTFO and our magical CBD-centric products. And most professionals will ask you about your service after you've given them the professional courtesy of listening to their spiel, right? It's just what goes around comes around. You've given them your time and attention, they'll in all likelihood give you the courtesy of the same. So after you've introduced yourself to as many exhibitors as possible before the official launch of your expo, you're going to head back to your table, get physically quiet, get your head on straight, and be prepared for your first passerbys who may be great candidates for your CTFO business. When the event launches, you'll have people coming to your table. And then the next question, of course, is when these passerbys come to my table, what do I do? And in a word, you make yourself unforgettable. Unforgettable. Most people, when I'm following up with them, remember me, and they're happy to hear from me. Why is that? Why are some people perceived as nuisances and avoided, while other people in their follow-up efforts find people are open and receptive? And the answer is because I set the stage for that at the right time, at the right place, right from the very beginning. So I encourage you to do that. Be unforgettable. Warmly greet these people with a smile. And again, just like when you're visiting with exhibitors, you're going to, with your passerbys, go on a fact-finding expedition. It's the very first part of a sales process also. What you're looking to fact-find is you're wanting to identify through questions an interest or a need that your prospect may have, remembering that you're holding two value propositions: your CBD products that can transform that person's health, and a money-making opportunity that can transform their financial circumstances. So remember, again, we've talked about the fact-finding part of the sales process is happening first. And so what might those questions be when someone's standing in front of you at your table? Well, certainly first practical question would be, how are you today? And then listen to what their answer is and respond appropriately. You could ask them, have you heard about CBD? And if they say yes, you could say, what do you know about it? Or are you using CBD currently? Or do you know anyone who's using CBD? If they say no, you could just tell them that it is the rave, the hottest health promoting agent maybe in the entire world today, and ask permission. Would you like me to spend just a minute or two telling you what may be of interest to you? You can ask people and make this your information relevant to them by asking them, do you have any health challenges? or that I might be able to help you improve, or health-related goals. Why do you do that? Well, you don't want to go all over the map and talk to people about things that are of no interest or relevance to them. You want to make your message in the sales process, it's called presentation, centric to their needs. So you got to ask a few questions. And people with me, and I think with you, if they sense your genuineness, will be pretty open about divulging areas where they're in need, right? So if they don't have anything that they're willing to submit to you for consideration so that you have an opportunity to deliver information that may be beneficial to them, you could say to them, well, let me share with you some of the things that CBD is known to positively impact. Pain and inflammation would be one, maybe the most popular that I hear about. Insomnia is another. Anxiety and depression. In fact, it's known to help high blood pressure or blood sugar instability, and even skin conditions or stomach issues. Are any one of these important to you? The idea is that when you put these conditions out for consideration, you're likely to hit on the hot button of something that matters to that person. Certainly if they're of baby boomer age, if they don't have 1, 2, or 3 things that are going south in their health, they're not anybody that I run with. You know, it tends to be at baby boomer age and above, shift starts to happen. So when you've touched on something that is a perceived value to them, something that they need, a gap you can sell to, the table's set for you to provide them with their answer or their breakthrough, if you will. So,
Janet, can I interject?
Sure.
I just wanted to piggyback off some things that you said. You've hit on a great number of nuggets, but I just wanted to share with the team, if you remember, Janet, about 2.5, 3 months ago, I did an expo in Maryland. You remember that? It was on a Saturday.
I do.
And I just wanted to share with the team a lot of these things that Janet's talking about. Your table can actually start the conversation and your attire. And let me explain what I mean. If you look at your screen right now, you can see that Karen has this great table setup, very professional, very elegant looking. But also, if you look at her vest, she has on one of our buttons, ladies and gentlemen. And that button is talking for her, is asking that question that Janet just now finished talking about. We have shirts. And so what I'm basically saying is your table itself can ask questions. You know, you see the little picture here. Let me go to the next screen, if you will. There's a picture of the, I'm sorry, let me get this back on the screen. But if you look at the endocannabinoid system, you can actually have this on your table just like Karen had, but you can also have questions. You know, it can say, you know, do you suffer from headaches? Do you suffer from inflammation? No, those type of questions. But your table is the one that's asking the questions. And then you'll find that the people will start to interact with you, because that's what happened to me in Maryland. You know, they saw my button, they saw my shirt, they saw the way the table was set up, but they also saw the things that we had on our table that was sort of asking the questions that sort of got them engaged. Does that make sense, Janet?
Yep, absolutely.
And so when you're setting up your table, don't be afraid to ask the question, but let your display ask the question for you. And then that sort of gets the ball rolling, because Janet hit the nail on the head. People will come up to you and they'll basically tell you what's wrong with them. And if you're a good listener, you can just come back and just tell them how our products can actually alleviate that issue that they have. And that would be an easy conversation. We also had, Janet, we had a question, and I want to go ahead and address that question. If everyone could look back at the PowerPoint. The question was, you know, would you recommend giving out samples? And my answer to that is no. And then I'm going to put an asterisk beside of what I'm about to say next. The reason I say no to the samples is because, just like Janet explained earlier, how Karen had her empty bottles, just like I did. She's got empty bottles to show the product presentation and things that a person can go to the website and get. But you have no way of knowing how much of each product to have, and it's sort of impossible to have all of our products, and you don't know which one's going to sell best at one particular show. So this is what I say. When a person asks for a sample, you want to let them know that we have a 60-day unconditional money-back empty bottle guarantee. And that means we want them to try our product as directed, because we're very confident if they do so, they will have great results. But ladies and gentlemen on the team, if you go start giving out samples, that sort of puts you in a vulnerable situation, because first of all, you don't know if a person needs 300 milligram CBD. You don't know if they need 750. And then if you're giving them samples, you may think you're in a clean environment. What if a person gets ill and now they're going to say you made them sick, and then CTFO's products made them sick? So you don't even want to open yourself to that type of criticism. There's a reason our products come sealed from the factory from a GMP certified facility. So don't worry about getting samples. Just, sort of hone in on that we have a 60-day money-back guarantee empty bottle. And that's what will create the value, because you want to talk to them. That gives you a chance to talk to them about what their specific ailment is. And then you can sort of direct them towards the product that we feel can best suit their needs. And so that's what you want to do. The only one that I really see that you can maybe let someone try, and you can piggyback off of this, Janet, would be the little gummies.
Right.
Gummies is something that you can let a person try. But far as the oils and all the other stuff, I would just leave that alone instead of opening up that box of trying to do samples.
You're right. From a health department standpoint, you don't want to be using your open product and putting it in somebody else's mouth. A bad idea all the way around. And I look at someone kind of cross-eyed, like, you're asking for a sample. Can you imagine these prospective customers walking into a dispensary, and instead of finding the right product that makes sense for them, they'll go up to the counter and ask for samples? Like, it's just, but it is the way that some people think, and you got to just meet them where they're at, ladies and gentlemen. But stay in control, stay in your power, and you say, you know what, your first bottle purchase is your sample. Use it all the way down to the very last drop. And like Todd said, we have an empty bottle, 100% money back guarantee. You have 60 days to take advantage of that. Most people will not, but certainly the opportunity is available. So there's your sample. And then also, as Todd mentioned, with the new gummies, I just bought myself 5 bottles. Now I'm going to go online and buying tiny little baggies, that Ziploc baggies that perfectly house 2 little gummies. And I would be happy to share those with people, but that's as far out as I'm going to go, as much expense as I'm going to put out to help cater to somebody who's curious and not committed. So let's move on, but good point there, Todd. Once you've exposed kind of a hot button for a person, then it's time for you to address that. And certainly for those of us who have been on the product for any length of time, sometimes our personal testimony is completely relevant to what that person in front of us needs to hear. Sometimes the things that are relevant to me, like overcoming pain and inflammation, learning how to focus past my ADD, putting to bed my eating disorder, which is an addiction of its own that has been so joyless for decades for me now, or the fact that I can sleep like a baby when I didn't even sleep like a baby when I was a baby. Perhaps all my recoveries aren't relevant to the person in front of me. Perhaps they have skin issues, they have blood pressure, blood sugar, or skin conditions. Then I want to go into the testimonials that we share with you on Wednesday and grab those and story tell and recite those so that I keep it interesting and centric to the needs of my prospect. You got to be brief. You have to learn to say a lot in a little time bite. This is not the time for you as an inexperienced salesperson to vomit everything you know on that person because they're willing to stand in front of you and take it. Nope. Don't do it. When you're doing that, number one, you're disrespecting them. You're showing them that you're not a seasoned salesperson, and you're letting other opportunities that will be coming to your table or moving right past your table go by. So learn to say a lot in a little. After you've shared some information that you believe should be of interest to that person based on the hot buttons that they've exposed to you, pause and be quiet for just a minute. and give that person the opportunity to step into that quiet and make some comments and ask some questions, and then skillfully address those questions. And then you're either going to do trial closes, or at a minimum, you're going to commit to following up with that person within 48 hours. And I'm going to again saying leveraging the advantages of that shuffle app, where you're swiping up if you have an iPhone and sharing your digital business card, or swapping right if you have an Android phone. Your digital business card will show a headshot of you, the CTFO logo. It'll drive them to our website. And then you, in turn, have all the information that you need housed on your phone in your new CRM to be able to efficiently follow up. And I say within 48 hours. How do I come up with that number? History, 23 years in this industry, tells me that people get less excited, not more, over time. So you want to give them a chance to catch their breath, kind of soak up the information you shared, perhaps visit that digital business card and launch the website and look at it, and you'll know when that happens. But if you can't go for the close right there, that's your relaxed drop down. If you can go for the close, you can sell the product that you have right there on hand, and some will have that and some won't. Many times people come to expos to be looky-loos, and they don't have cash on hand, and they're not intending to buy. Some of these events, ladies and gentlemen, where they get a bag at the door, people come in like adult trick-or-treaters just to see how much free stuff they can stuff in their bag. It blows me away, but my experience tells me that's so. But some people there will want their opportunity to grab your answer right then and there. I'm that kind of person, and you'll have some people there to do that. Again, if you have the inventory, you can take cash, you can take check, or you can use the Square to process a credit card, or you can do what Karen does and take orders. And in that, she grabs the relevant information that would include their name, phone number, email address, their home address, and their credit card. You can do that on a pre-created form. That's the old school way of doing it. Or you could create that kind of form on your iPad or laptop. But here's something I learned the hard way. If you do that and you're running your PowerPoint on your laptop, you're going to have a problem. So keep that in mind. You'll need another device. There is some real advantages to us in taking somebody's order and then keeping control of this, because here's the win-win-win strategy that we create when we take an order. We can take an order, and as associates here at CTFO, we can process that order in the business center of one of our personally enrolled associates rather than in our own center. So if you've qualified yourself for all your potential earnings with a $47 a month purchase, now you have the opportunity to place this product purchase in the center of a personally enrolled associate. That could be an adult, a child, or your spouse. And the reason you're going to do that is because you're going to get a 20% bonus on the CV for that product purchase. And you're going to qualify that person whose center where you just made this purchase for. And you give your new customer the deepest wholesale cost and then direct it to their home for convenience sake. So now you see how you win, your frontline personally enrolled associate wins, and your new customer wins. I love that. Things always work when you're taking into consideration what's in everybody's best interest. Another option could be to set them up with a website branded to them for free with no obligation. That's going to allow them a chance to do a deep dive into what matters most. So this is what I say to them, and this is so brilliant about what Michael, Stu, and Steve have put here together with our no barrier to entry enrollment option. I'll say to someone in front of me, I don't need any private information from you. I don't need your social or your credit card information. And I say that, ladies and gentlemen, to get the objection right off the table. I say I only, and I use that word, only need your name, phone number, email address, and home address, and I can set you up with a website that's branded to you so you can take a look and do a deep dive into what matters most to you here at CTFO, relevant to how us associates make lots of money here, or relevant to the brilliant benefits of our CBD-centric products, do it at your leisure from the privacy and comfort of your home. How about we spend 3 minutes and we do that? And I have had an unbelievable closing ratio in that. What that does is allow the person in front of you to not only see what people are seeing on the front end as visitors of our website, but they can go into a deeper review on things that are most interesting to them on the back end. In addition to that, they're going to start receiving communications from CTFO, our corporate head, and they're going to be receiving information that invites them to our webinars and to our trainings, so they get like a toe in the water, as Todd calls it. They get a little plugged in, or at least invited to plug in. I encourage all of you to be very realistic about your expectations on these kind of events. Check yourself. Most of the time, it is for what it is. It's going to give you the opportunity to begin engagement, to begin to be at the very front end of a relationship with all things possible. I encourage you to see that as a win and let that be enough. I don't want you to have the false expectation that these events typically create lots of opportunities for you to close and convert people right then and there. It usually doesn't happen like that. Have a little bit of patience, have some professional prowess, and move through the process. These are not opportunities to body slam people or hard sell. This is the time to serve, and serve with poise and excellence. And frame it in your mind like this. You're there for the sole purpose of identifying seekers of a product or seekers of a money-making opportunity. And if someone comes to your table and they're sour and they're disinterested and they're shut down, don't spend your valuable time and your energy convincing them against their will. Just move on. Be willing to move on, because there's going to be another person who will be interested coming soon. You want to focus on them and serve them with excellence, as we just talked about.
Janet, can I say something about the, I just wanted to say this about the shuffle card, because it's very important. When you're at the table, ladies and gentlemen, when you're marketing and you have your table set up, the unique thing about people that have the shuffle card, or the ones that are getting the shuffle card today, is that you have a QR code, and that will allow your table and allow you to talk even when you're not talking to a person, because you can set it up and say, if you like more information about what you see today, scan this code, and your card and information will go to their smartphone. And so you're going to get busy at these expos and fairs or whatever the case may be. But if they actually scan that code, your presentation will go straight to them. So it's just another tool. You remember Janet said that I said that this is a Swiss Army knife of marketing. This will allow you to talk to people even when they haven't spoke to you personally. So I just want to let everyone know it's not just a digital business card. It allows you to do so many things, but one of the most powerful would be that QR code. So sorry about that, Janet. I just want to interject that when we're talking about the shuffle card.
Nope, that's an absolute great feature to mention, Todd. So thanks for interjecting that. I'll move on and say that I like to have associates with me at these kind of events and create a template for success for them to model after. I call it shadowing. There's no better way to groom a person into greatness than to have them shadow and follow greatness. So what I like to do is train someone to be able to duplicate how I've successfully been able to use these events as ways to grow my business. And then they in turn go out and identify appropriate places to be exhibitors, and they implement the template for success that they've seen and now participated in. And instead of teaching, instead of giving them fish, I've just taught this associate how to fish for themselves. I want to talk about how you can, that your follow-up efforts are so important. You want to be impeccable with your word. When you tell someone that you're going to follow up with them after you've had your engagement, if you're not able to close or convert them at the time of the event, most times you will not, sometimes you will, then you need to go back and reference your contact sheet, put those into some kind of CRM or Excel spreadsheet, to keep the courtship going, or just simply jump onto your Shuffle app and go back and re-engage those people. I want to model for you what that follow-up call could look like, because there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it. Remember, you're going to set the table for your success if you were unforgettable at event time. So a follow-up call could look like this. Bring, bring, bring. I phone Todd and he picks up the phone and he says, hello. And I say, hey, Todd, good afternoon. This is Janet. Remember, I met you at the Health Now Expo in Mesa on Saturday. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Janet. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. I was anxious to follow up with you. Do you have a few minutes to talk now?
Yes, I was just looking at the information, but yeah, I have time.
Perfect. So here, ladies and gentlemen, I want to show you how easy it is. I'm light, I'm happy. If I'm downtrodden, negative, sour, or life has bitten me in the hiney, I will not use that time as a time to go out and reach out and take my negative energy and put it on other people. I'm going to wait till I'm happy, high, not literally high, and excited, and I'm going to carry that energy forward in my seat, eager to reconnect with this guy. And here's the difference between me and so many other associates. I'm expecting Todd to be happy to hear from me. I'm not expecting Todd to reject me or shut me down. Why would he? I'm a nice, likable person. I was unforgettable at event time. And then I have something that's of real value to him. So I'm expecting him to be happy to hear from me. And then you notice I asked him, do you have a few minutes to spend with me now? The reason I asked that is, no matter how great you and your opportunity or your product line is, if you try to impale that on somebody at an inopportune time, you're likely to be shut down. So be a professional and ask permission to talk. Again, you're going to ask questions. Hey, Todd, when I saw you on Saturday and we had a few minutes to speak, what was the most important thing that we shared?
Well, we talked about, how I had knee surgery and how I was having problems with that knee. And it seems like I guess I've been overcompensating, so my other knee is hurting now. So I have a lot of inflammation in my joints, but particularly my knees. And I remember asking you if you had a product that could help me with some of my pain level.
Yeah, and that was an easy one for us to visit, Todd, because as I shared with you, I had 2 motorcycle accidents, a ski accident, and I fell off my heels and trashed both of my knees. And my ticket out of pain, at least from a level 9 to a 3, was CBD. So that was important for me to be able to share with you what benefits I've gotten from CBD. But did you have a chance to look at the website that's on my digital business card and look at that 5-minute product video that's off the chart amazing? Did you have a chance to do that yet?
Yeah, I've actually looked at the video twice, and then when I was able to go to your website, I was looking, and I'm glad that you called me because I'm not really sure what dosage of CBD to take. I was sort of looking at the 500, but I didn't really know. So if you can tell me today about what you think I should take. My pain levels is sort of at a 7, but I just don't know what level of CBD oil to take.
Well, I can't wait to give you some relief, and I'm going to expect that you're going to get the same benefits that I've gotten and hundreds and hundreds of stories that I've heard here, Todd. So I've been doing this for a while. I've listened to a lot of stories and followed up with a lot of customers, so I feel pretty confident in making a recommendation on a potency if you're interested and open to my input.
Yes, absolutely, because you've had some of the same injuries, and anything to help me out with this pain, because I don't want to have surgery again. So what do you recommend? What did you take?
Well, that's an easy one for me. It's kind of a tiered layer of potencies, and I look at it like this, Todd. A 300 milligram would be for someone who has really no conditions or complaints to address, or for a child. And then the 500 milligram would be for someone who has some conditions, some challenges that they want to overcome, but it's not really diminishing their quality of life. It happens sometimes, not all the time, not too severe, but life is still good. The 500 milligram 10X Plus is that the super, in its super form with 10 times the power of delivery. We have a very unique delivery system on it. So a 500 milligram potency CBD oil will perform at a much higher level if you get it in the 10X Pure. I love that. It's brand new. It's exclusive to us. That's a great option for you. $750 is if we go up a tier and we say your pain condition is diminishing your quality of life. You address it more times than not. It's pretty severe. And then if I move up the rung to the top, it's 1,500 milligram in our whole plant, full spectrum. That particular product I always recommend to someone who has cancer challenges, who's got a severe pain and inflammation consistent over time, anyone who's looking in the face of an addiction. And then of course, again, if you want to get into the very tippy top of what's possible, the 1,500 milligram CBD oil in 10X Pure is the very best that we have. So in there, I'm thinking that you're going to be around a 750 perhaps milligram CBD. If you want to stretch all the way to the top, we can put you in 1,500 milligram 10X Pure. Which sounds better or more appropriate for you, Todd?
Well, right now, I know that I can afford right now the 750, but I wanted to ask you, I remember at your table, you told me that you had a 60-day money back guarantee. If I find that this is not as strong, can I switch to the higher doses? Because I can get the 750 today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a great plan. Start where you can, economize your dollar. This just may be enough to take you into a full recovery. So let's start there. Do you have like 3 minutes that you can spend with me? And we'll erect a website for you. We'll purchase that product on that site at the deepest wholesale cost, and we'll get your product on the way today. Can we do that?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. So now, ladies and gentlemen, you see how I take Todd. I followed up, I asked permission to talk to him, asked him what mattered most in our brief time together on Saturday, and then moved him towards a trial close, talking to him about the product. I'm going to put him into an associate website right off the bat. If he offers up any kind of resistance, I'm going to remind him it's absolutely free. As Joe says, you can't beat free, and it's with no obligation, but it's going to give him the convenience of future purchases delivered to his home at the deepest wholesale cost. So that's an easy one to get over. And I'm going to assist Todd in doing it. You have two options at this point. You can either stay in control, which I prefer, and put the site together, enter Todd's information, and direct it to him. Then he kind of gets to just sit along for the ride with a concierge type service that just makes it all happen. Or you can let go of the controls and invite Todd to build his own website, choose the product you discussed, and have it directed towards him, which is the lesser of the two options. So we've covered a lot of turf here. We've run really long this morning, but I hope that this information that we've imparted to you today proves to be valuable to you. I love this way of doing business. You get to help more, faster, better. What's not perfect about that? So with that, ladies and gentlemen, Todd and Klaus and myself want to thank you for your time and attention today. That's a wrap for our training. And again, I hope you learned a lot here. So you can go and grow with CTFO. God bless each and every one of you. We'll look forward to seeing you on our Wednesday night webinar where we have a very special guest. Stay tuned for details on Monday.